was and how technology worked for you. And we will bring Jeff back up. Jeff, there are a whole barrage of questions around this notion of sometimes I try to want to connect to somebody and there isn't a button to connect. Sometimes I try to connect to somebody and they want me to put in their email and I don't have it. Sometimes people are in something called creator mode. What's that all about? Can you help us out?
I believe I can.
Excellent.
First of all, I totally agree with Al. Sometimes I've trained myself to talk and breathe at the same time. So you're going to find, I think when we're all done with this, you're going to find a couple of things. You're going to find that I'm crazy about LinkedIn, or you're going to find that I'm just plain crazy. One of those two things, or maybe both. I'm crazy about LinkedIn because LinkedIn has become a place for me to create content, to help other people. And that is why I put something out there every single time I post something. It is about helping people on LinkedIn. And so from a content creation standpoint, I've created this, I've created videos, et cetera. Let me share my screen and show you one other place that you can come if you want to, including, by the way, the previous versions of the Career Actions Ministries videos are out here as well. Okay, on my profile, there's a special place that anyone can add this as well. If you want to put in your introductory section a place that you can that you can feature a particular website, you can do so. I have featured this particular website. So and I will do what I did before. I will, in the chat, I will put a link to that website out here right now. Because this is a special place that I've created where there are all kinds of LinkedIn videos. Okay, so that's a good place to go. If you go there, you will actually go to this website and you will see my banner, of course, as usual, the Superman in the background, but you will see a ton of how-to videos out here. So there are all kinds of things about, and you can learn a whole bunch of things about LinkedIn by going back out here afterwards and coming through the process. As a matter of fact, if you scroll far enough back through here, you might notice a couple of things that look a little bit familiar. Okay, there is Career Actions Ministry, okay, which we did in April of 2022. And there's one earlier than that, even. If you go a little bit farther down, there's one that we did a little bit earlier than that in August of 2021. So those links are out there as well. So that not only will you get access through the Career Actions Ministry site, but you can also get access through my site to not only those videos, but a whole lot more as well. So now, creator mode. Okay, let's talk about creator mode for a second. I know that there's at least one person on here that I'm going to elicit some feedback from, that is Ian, and Ian has actually turned himself into creator mode. He has turned creator mode on. And in order for you to, I think a good place to show you right now so that I can help you afterwards, or help you on not only creator mode, but all kinds of other things on LinkedIn, is to show you where the help is. And that is under the me. If you're trying, LinkedIn, hides things a lot, as I said before. And one of the things they hide in particular is the help button. But if you're trying to find help from LinkedIn, remember that you are asking LinkedIn to help me. Okay, so if you actually go up under the me section, okay, this will give you some information, and here is the help button. Okay, so there's the help button. When you click help, it will open up this little window. I almost always recommend that you open help in a new tab so that you got more real estate to work with. And if you're interested in finding out a whole lot more than I can tell you in the time that we have available about creator mode, okay, type in the word creator mode, and hit enter. And it will then allow you to go into creator mode, and it will show you, as far as that's concerned, what the benefits for you might be of turning on creator mode. Okay, so this will tell you, this is the changes that it will make to your profile. So creator mode actually changes your profile to focus on creation. Okay? Now, Ian, I know you have creator mode on. Let me ask you this question, at least, so everybody know how I got to that. I went to help. Okay, I went to the help, opened the help. typed in the word creator mode and have found the help that LinkedIn has on creator mode. You can do that for creator mode. You can do it for a lot of other things. My question to Ian is, Ian, if you can unmute yourself and tell me and the rest of the group, why did you turn on creator mode? Is Ian there?
I just wanted to see the difference between creator mode and regular mode. The main difference I found is it gives impressions of all your posts that you've put up lately instead of just the post of the current or the latest one that you put up there, and just to see the trends.
So for one thing, one of the changes that creator mode, again, if you're focusing on content, creator mode is the way to go, because this will then allow you to see a whole lot more. That allows people who come to your profile to see a whole lot more of your activity than if you didn't have creator mode on. It actually shows the last 4 different posts that you've done, and it concentrates on the posts that you've done or reposts that you've done, as an example. So there's a couple of things that I would ask you to consider, though, in terms of creating on LinkedIn, is whether or not you have a big enough network to make it useful in the first place. So I normally recommend that you not turn creator mode on until you get a total of connections and followers that's larger than 1,000, because that will give you a critical mass of people that actually going to interact with your content. Because you creating stuff and nobody seeing it and nobody listening to it and nobody engaging with it is really just you're talking to yourself. So that's why I say that you should probably have a minimum, let's say, and again, lots of people could turn it on before that if they want to focus on the way that it looks on as far as their profile is concerned. But at least have around 1,000 folks that are connections and followers. And that's also getting to what we were talking about before in terms of the difference between following and connecting. I mentioned that. When you go to some people's profiles, you're going to see the follow button. That will mean that they actually have turned creator mode on, because when someone turns the creator mode on, it is now allowing them to focus on more followers than connections. Okay. So for example, this is what it's done for me, because I wanted to have more people follow me than I could ever connect with and network with. Okay. So when you look at mine, you will see on my profile, I have over 43,000 followers. If you look at my network, though, which I can show you up here in terms of number of connections under my network, of those 43,000, by the way, a connection is automatically a follower. So if someone connects with you, it adds to the follower count. But the follower count is the total of connections and followers. So when you look at my profile, though, you won't be able to see this, but I can show you that in terms of, I'm very intentional about who I connect with, but I do want lots of followers. So the follower piece of this allows me to get to a lot larger audience and spread the word about LinkedIn and tell people how useful LinkedIn can be. But as far as the number of actual connections that I have, out of those 43,225, only 624 or 25 of those are actual connections. So I don't have that many connections, but I've been successful on LinkedIn because I've been able to build a following. And that's another reason to build content, is to build a following. Okay, now, what should you concentrate on? Most people ask me, well, okay, I'd like to create on LinkedIn, but I have no idea what to create on LinkedIn. What should I post about? Okay. That also, by the way, then I will help you with that one as well, because I'm now back to another one of my newsletters. It's a newsletter that I did a long time ago, but it should be able to help you as well. Okay, because I did something called the anatomy of a LinkedIn post. So if you're going to post on LinkedIn, this is what you should consider when you're posting on LinkedIn. So that's another of my newsletters. I will put that newsletter up, put the link to that also in the chat box, okay, so that you can have that as well. There it is, okay, so that you can see what would be the considerations about posting on LinkedIn. Now, let's talk about that for just a second, okay? And I'll briefly give you what you might have noticed on my profile when I go talking about things on LinkedIn. that I actually talk about, when in my headline section, okay, I talk about, I'm volunteering, I get paid in 3 C's, coffee, conversation, and occasionally chocolate. Okay. And by the way, if you look at some of my recent posts, you're actually going to see that I actually did get paid in chocolate not too long ago, as a matter of fact. And that's one of the things I posted about, that they took me at my word, and they actually paid me in chocolate. As a matter of fact, if you scroll down a little ways here, you'll actually see it, because it's fairly easy to recognize, because if you scroll down far enough and it's just a few more, there it is. That's how I got paid, in all that chocolate. Holy moly. And by the way, this was payment in chocolate from a group that I actually did a LinkedIn seminar for a week or so ago in the United Kingdom. So these folks took me at my word, and they actually paid me in chocolate. So now, those 3 C's, okay? Conversation, okay, connecting, conversation, coffee, and chocolate are 3 of my C's that I want to talk to people about, because that's what I'm talking about, networking. You network over coffee, you network with conversations, you network in some instances, in my case, for example, with chocolate. Now, oh, by the way, Chardonnay is a really good C. So if you wanted to pay me in Chardonnay, that'd be good too. That'd be fine. And Chardonnay will work for me. But when it comes to, okay, let's go back to my, we'll back up just a little ways, and let's go back to my C's as far as posting on LinkedIn is concerned. There's 3 C's here as well, okay? And I talk about those 3 C's in this article, as you'll see that I'll go down through here. And here are the 3 C's that I talk about as far as the article is concerned in terms of posting on LinkedIn. First of all, content is king. Content is what you should post about stuff you know about. You should post about stuff that gives people an inkling about what value you add. So you're an expert in something. You have a superpower, okay? You should post about what your superpower is. Okay, I'm a teacher, so I post about teaching things on LinkedIn. The content is the king. Have some content that you can be knowledgeable enough to talk about. And that's how you can post on LinkedIn, okay? But the next C is equally important, because content is king, but context is King Kong, which, by the way, is why King Kong's up here beating his chest, okay? Content is king, but context is King Kong. You have to make your content about your audience. It has to speak to someone. It has to be appealing to someone out on LinkedIn that you want to talk about. It has to be about your tribe. It has to be about who you're interested in having as an audience. That's why the context comes into play. Because if you do content without context, you're just talking to yourself. Okay? And that's not going to get you anywhere you need to be on LinkedIn. So that's why context is extremely important as well. And then the third C, okay, that is extremely important in terms of posting, in terms of being a content creator, okay, on LinkedIn, is content is king, context is King Kong, but consistency is King Kong's mother. Okay. And King Kong's mother trumps King Kong every time. Just like you always did what your mom said. Okay. Well, you need to do what, King, as far as consistency is concerned, that's King Kong's mother. Because to me, that consistency is being there and being a part of the process on an ongoing basis. That gets to the theory about, well, how often should I post? Literally, I don't post any more than once or twice a week, but I do it consistently. For me, I'm posting on a Monday on a normal basis, and I'm posting on a Thursday on a normal basis. And that consistency has helped me gain a following, because people actually come to know that you're going to be there on a Monday or a Thursday, and they are going to come back to look for your content on that Monday or Thursday if they're interested in what you have to say. So that's where I come from. And from a content creator standpoint, I think it's one of the best ways that you can differentiate yourself on LinkedIn. Look at it this way, okay? Let me do this. Show you one of the things that I show people a lot on LinkedIn when I go here. I didn't even do a search. I just clicked enter in the search bar, and then I clicked on people. This is the total results of how many people there are on LinkedIn with no filter. There are 884 million of your closest friends out here. 884 million possible people who could look at your content and interact with your content. Now, the point being is that if you really want to differentiate yourself, out of those 884 million people, the statistics show that only about 1 to 5% of those people are actually contributing content to LinkedIn on a weekly basis. Okay, so that's important in terms of differentiating yourself, because you can actually differentiate yourself by being someone who puts content out there that is a much smaller number and will differentiate you than that 884,000 people. Okay, so there may be a lot of noise out there for you on LinkedIn as well, but I'll talk about that in a second. But there's another C, okay, in essence. Differentiating yourself by creating content is important, but differentiating yourself by actually having another C. There's another C that says comments are queen out on LinkedIn. So actually going to your profile, bringing up your homepage, and then commenting on your connections content is important as well, because that will also help you get found. So commenting is another way of interacting. Commenting is a way that you can tell. By the way, commenting is a really great way to clean up your feed, because LinkedIn will look at that. Most people know what I'm talking about when I say the word Pandora. Everybody's heard of the music, okay, the app called Pandora, where you give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, okay? Well, when you comment on something, that's giving LinkedIn algorithm a thumbs up. So when you comment on something, LinkedIn will say, oh, you like that, I'll give you some more of that kind of content. So that's how you clean up your feed, is commenting on stuff that you want to see more of and ignoring stuff that you don't. Did that answer the question? I hope, Marcia.
Yes. Do you need a platform for hosting the articles, the content that you write, or can you just put it on LinkedIn and that's it?
It is on LinkedIn. If you're interested in figuring out what, and different kinds of posts will get different kinds of responses as well. So for example, a post that is just text is okay, but a post that you add a photo to is better. Okay. A video is even better than that. If you are willing to get out there and put yourself on video or supply videos and upload a video to LinkedIn, that will help as well, because videos are an extremely good form of content. As you can see, as I scroll down through here, you can see that some of these are actual videos. Okay, they're going to be videos out here, and here's a 1-minute-and-29-second video that is actually about a popular course on LinkedIn. Okay, here's a 1-minute-and-19-second video as well from Comcast. So videos are another type of content, another category of content that will also help you get noticed. It helps you get noticed because of the fact that it moves. It is a scroll stopper. When someone is scrolling by a video, okay, and they actually spend 3 seconds on your video, looking at your video, it will tell LinkedIn that somebody paused and looked at your video, and that will help you from differentiate you and help you from a visibility standpoint as well. Okay. You can also write articles out on LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, one of the things that you can do is you can write newsletters out here on LinkedIn. That's why, by the way, if you go to my profile, the very first thing in my featured section is what I mentioned before, my newsletters. I've been doing a newsletter for 2.5 years now on a monthly basis on LinkedIn. So that means there are 28 different editions of my newsletter out there, which you can subscribe to. Or if you don't want to subscribe, just go here on my featured section, click it, and then you can peruse through all of my newsletters. And oh, by the way, one of the things that I talked about being effective on LinkedIn is being effective by publishing a newsletter. This will tell you how to get started and publishing a newsletter if you really do want to publish a newsletter on LinkedIn. Okay. And again, this is one of the newsletters are cool because newsletters is also different than my number of followers. Newsletters has 25,570 subscribers to my newsletter. The cool part about publishing a newsletter is that it's one of the first times and the only times on LinkedIn that when I publish, it will actually go out to all 25,570 of those subscribers and say, hey, LinkedIn notifies you that Jeff Young just published a newsletter, so that you can go. As a matter of fact, it even sends them an email. But what I want you to understand is that this is actually the best of both worlds, because you can subscribe to my newsletter, but I don't get your email. Okay? It's not like you subscribe to somebody else's newsletter and that you have to provide them your email, and that also maybe opens you up to their spam. Exactly. Well, you're not going to get spam from me. You're only going to get a notification that if you subscribe that I published another newsletter. And again, that will help you. You get one more email and that will show you that I've published one. But you can always go back to any of my newsletters and see what I've done as a newsletter without even subscribing to it, because that's all free and it's all there. Okay. So, and these newsletters all have a theme. They are all titled "Be Effective on LinkedIn by," okay, and then something else. Okay. Be
Are they
effective on
monthly?
LinkedIn. I try to publish it monthly. I haven't published one for about a little over a month. Okay. But I tried there. So that's why it's 2.5 years. So that's why there are 28 editions. My very first newsletter, if you scroll down far enough, you will see that my very first newsletter was published. And if I scroll far enough, we'll actually find it. And it's down here. 5 things to make you more effective. And it was published over 2 years ago. And it will actually give you, if you open it, the actual published date. It was published on August 4th of 2020. So I've been publishing a newsletter approximately once a month ever since August of 2020. But that's all there. And again, you don't even have to subscribe to get access to this information. It's all there. So, here's one. The very first thing I talked about on LinkedIn is 5 things that make me more effective on LinkedIn. And by the way, since we talked about that before, I want you to understand what kind of a teacher I am. Okay. I believe the best teachers are the teachers who show you where to look, but they do not tell you what to see. Okay. And what I mean by that is that these are 5 things that made me more effective on LinkedIn. They may or may not work for you, and you do not have to take my advice, but I am a success because of these 5 things on LinkedIn. So maybe you would be a success on LinkedIn because you adopted some of the things that I'm talking about here as well. By the way, I'm also the kind of teacher that says, if I give you a fish, I feed you for a day. If I teach you to fish, I feed you for the rest of your life. And that brings me back to one of the reasons why I have a LinkedIn premium account. You can see that when you go to my profile because of this gold little shield right here. That tells me that Jeff is a premium member. Okay. One of the reasons I became a premium member is because that allowed me to do on LinkedIn and put up a setting that says I have what's called an open profile. Now, you mentioned this before as well, Marcia, so let's go back to that. If someone goes to my profile and they actually are able to deal not with the follow button, but they're actually able to look at more and find the connect button, okay? There is a connect button there for me, but as far as connection is concerned, I want to meet people first. I want to interact with those people first before I connect with them. So I have changed it to require my email in order to connect with me. Now, at the same time though, LinkedIn has allowed me, because of premium, to allow me to have what's called an open profile. If you go to my profile, even though you are not connected to me and you press the message button, you can send me a message. So after the fact from here, if you've got a question about LinkedIn, please try to answer it yourself by going to the help file, because I don't want to be inundated by 200 questions after this session. But if you send me a message, which you can do, even though you're not connected to me, I will answer your question through a direct message as well. That's why the open profile is there. That's one of the reasons I've paid for it.
Awesome. AI is a big topic in the news right now. Do you see AI changing or affecting LinkedIn?
Yes, it will, in a couple of different perspectives. First of all, AI has been on LinkedIn forever, because ever since LinkedIn started doing something, they have this thing called the algorithm, which measures what you do on LinkedIn. So the more active you are on LinkedIn, the more it gives you on LinkedIn, the more it feeds you what you want. It's monitoring what you do all the time. So AI will continue to do that. One of the things that people talk about is that they will do certain things on LinkedIn because of the algorithm. Okay. I will not be, and I will never be, and I can't, I'll use an old phrase, watch my lips. Okay. I will never be a slave to the algorithm, but I will make the algorithm work for me. So AI in LinkedIn terms is I'm going to do what I need to do in order to maximize my reach on LinkedIn, as long as I'm not doing it through other automation, which by the way is against LinkedIn's terms of use. So I will not automate my posts. I will not automate anything else that is against LinkedIn terms of service, but I will use the automation in order to help me in terms of the AI algorithm through LinkedIn to help it give me what I want. Okay. Now, another topic that has been very, very popular here recently is a topic about AI and a new tool on AI called ChatGPT. Anybody heard of ChatGPT? Boy, that's difficult for me to
Oh,
say.
yes.
Yeah. So I get a couple of waving hands. Yeah, you've heard about it. Okay. As in any other tool, including LinkedIn, there are good things and there are bad things about that tool. Okay. If you use chat, for example, I could use ChatGPT to generate some content for LinkedIn. I could tell ChatGPT to write me a topic about posting on LinkedIn. Okay, and it probably would do so. The problem is that every single person who asks that same question will get the same result back from the AI because it is a computer program, because it will not vary it. It will answer the question the same way every single time. So the good news is it can give me some information that I might be able to use as far as posting content on LinkedIn. The bad news is it will give me the same information it gives anybody else who asked that same question. So I will look the same as anybody else who asked that same question. So using AI just as what ChatGPT gave me back is a bad idea, in my humble opinion. I'm just offering my opinion about this because AI can be very, very useful. But AI is just that. They don't call it artificial intelligence for nothing. Okay. So, and that's the part of the process that I don't like. So I am going to be me. And one of the things I'm always told, and one of the things I tell people on LinkedIn is that you need to be you on LinkedIn. You need to be authentic on LinkedIn. And I don't believe using ChatGPT would help me be authentic on LinkedIn. Now, for heaven's sake, try it if you can. Try it to see what it might actually give you as far as ideas about stuff. That's where AI can come into play. It will think about something maybe you didn't think about. But I will not take the AI generated stuff and just drop it out there as my content, because it's almost like plagiarizing, because everybody else is going to have that same kind of content if they ask the same kind of question. That makes sense too?
Yeah. I've seen people using ChatGPT. They feed it their resume, they feed it the job posting and ask it to write a cover letter. And it will do a reasonable basic cover letter. And then you can take that and personalize it with stories. And maybe it gets you over the hump of writing a cover letter is such a big task. I'm never going to get it done. Yeah. Because now you're just editing and polishing as opposed to creating from scratch.
As long as you make it yours, yeah. you're cool. And let's go back to content for just a second. And let me mention something that I think, you know, there's also a prevalent thing. I don't know whether there's any question in the chat about it, but there's this movement out there and the opinion by some people that I hear talk about all the time that LinkedIn is becoming much, much more like Facebook all the time. I got to guarantee you folks, LinkedIn is not Facebook. Okay. However, but you will see some things out there that you can then tell LinkedIn not to give you anymore. Okay. Because again, here's another way that you can control what is in your feed. Okay. You can tell through these magic 3 dots on every single post, you can tell LinkedIn whether or not you want more of that or not. I do not want to see this. Okay. So LinkedIn algorithm is good and useful from that perspective as well, because it says, I don't want this anymore. But as I said previously, if you think this stuff is spam, for heaven's sakes, don't comment on it, because the algorithm says, oh, you commented on this, you liked it. I'll give you some more of that. Oh, here's some more spam for you, right? So now, when it comes to the type of content in a general basis, let me talk about it from this perspective as well. Look, LinkedIn is a professional place, okay? It is a place where professionals go to be involved in social media, though, right? And again, they don't call it social media for nothing, because of the fact that that means it's an interaction, it's a networking tool, you know, et cetera. So now, there really are, and I got to give credit to a couple of my good friends from the UK for this one as well. One person, Annette from, oh, never mind. Sarah Burgess is the person from the UK that I got this from originally, so I'll give her the most credit for it. Here's what we're talking about as far as content is concerned. You can have kind of three categories of content in a very broad perspective. You can post, or you can see content on LinkedIn that is professional. So it's about a profession. It's about how to do something. It's about, it might even be, professional about how to use ChatGPT to do your resume. That would be a professional topic, right? Okay. The next level of that, though, is you can also have what's called personal content. There's nothing wrong with personal content, because personal content is a part of your brand as well. Being authentic on LinkedIn and putting something about your story out there is okay as well. So for example, an example of this, let me give the third P first, and then I'll go back and give you an example of how I dealt with this in terms of professional content versus personal content versus the third P, which is private content. I'm sorry, but you going through colon cancer is probably not good to put on LinkedIn. Now, there are people who share that much, and I'm sorry, I go TMI on that. That is too much information. It may have been a way you can maybe take some of that and make it a part of your story, because when you survive that, that's where that's how you got to be where you are now. But private content will probably more than normal make people uncomfortable, and you do not want to do that on LinkedIn. So I'm going to spend my time primarily not telling you my private life, but I am going to spend time talking to you about professional and personal things on LinkedIn. So for example, let me go to this one, and I'll bring it up. I think I can bring it up fairly quickly, because I'll bring up my post and I'll go back in October, which by the way is a while ago, but the fact of it is it's a while ago and not too long ago, because I only post about once a week. So if I go back here far enough, I will find that post pretty quickly, because this is focusing on my post. By the way, there was a New Year's post. There's a blend of personal, okay, because I'm the Superman on LinkedIn, versus also celebrating and providing value on LinkedIn, okay, and talking about it from that perspective. So that was one example. The example I want to get to is a little bit farther back than that. Bear with me for just a second. And again, you can see.
Here's a question for you while you find it, if you would. If as a job seeker, we want to make our email visible to people who are not connected to us, where would you recommend we put it? In the About section?
Yes, I would recommend that you do that in the About section. I would, and again, let's cover that real briefly, because I recommend that you put an email in your About section that will allow people to contact you, but I don't recommend that you put necessarily your primary email in that section. I recommend that you put one that you are using for the job search only, because that way, because there literally, I will tell you, this is a story I've got as well. I put an email out there on my About section, and literally within 10 minutes, I had 5 spam messages that went to that email, because there are people out there who are using automation to scrape your profile and find those emails, and they're just going to farm those emails out, and they're going to send those emails to as many people as they can, and you are going to get spam on it as well. So at least you can control it that way. Okay. So don't necessarily use your primary email, but use an email that is focused on LinkedIn, and that way you can do it that way. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, by the way, if you're willing to, and you're not afraid of, again, you're not afraid of too much spam, I would also even recommend putting your phone number out there. I would recommend putting your cell phone out there, because make it as easy as possible for the recruiter that finds you to contact you. Because if they've got a choice, if they come up with 2 results, and one result doesn't have any contact information and the other result does, guess who they're going to pick? I mean, come on, I used to be a recruiter. I'm a lazy son of a gun. I'm going to go with the easy path every single time. I'm going to use the one that's got the contact information. Now, if you're afraid of getting spam messages on your phone, well, then you're obviously not living in the 21st century, because I get spam messages on my phone every single day. Okay. The good news about spam messages and numbers that come up that I do not recognize is, guess what? I do not answer them. That's what voicemail is for. Okay. And by the way, our smartphones are smart enough nowadays that where they come up with a number that's not recognized, they may even tell you that this is a spam risk. Okay. So you can block it immediately and get rid of it. Okay. But it's still to me, this again is a personal, that is a personal choice as to whether or not you put your contact information out there or not. But to me, that if I'm in a job search, that far outweighs the negatives of putting that contact information out there, because I can get contacted more for what I want. Okay. Meanwhile, back at personal, professional, private. This is not private at all, although some people might think it's private. This is a post that I did around Halloween. Okay. And I thought it would be fun to put a post out there because I'm the Superman, as you can see, but people who really know me also know that I'm a Star Trek nut. Okay. So these are two Halloween costumes that I wore over the Halloween time frame, one of Superman and one of Jean-Luc Picard, okay, Star Trek. Now, the point was that I tried, that was personable, and I want this to show my personality. There's nothing wrong with showing your personality on LinkedIn, because that's the social part of social media. But I wanted to make a professional point about this as well. So here's what I did inside the post. Okay, when I said something about Superman tip, I said, show your superpower out here on LinkedIn, no matter what it might be. But don't do it because someone else tells you to. Do it because you enjoy it and want to stand for truth, justice, and the LinkedIn way. Okay, that's kind of an old reference, but there it is. Post the kind of content that provides value and helps you go up, up and away, okay, and have some fun. There's nothing wrong with having some fun on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn should be fun for you. It should not be a job. Now, from the Star Trek standpoint, okay, those folks who know me and know about Star Trek and know about Jean-Luc Picard say, you might have guessed it. The one that I'm talking about from a Star Trek tip is to engage. Okay, and that was the best Star Trek Jean-Luc Picard voice I can have, because he always used to do that on the show, engage. Okay, but engaging means that, you know, engage with the people that you like out here. Really take the time to build a tribe, a federation of peeps in this huge galaxy of wonderful opportunities, and boldly go and provide value to your network where no one has provided before. That was my mix of personal and professional. It can be done, and I don't know whether that's too much for you. If it is too much for you, I will quote one of my other LinkedIn contacts from the UK, because honestly, the object of you creating content and the object of you providing something out here on LinkedIn is to do this thing: attract the best, repel the rest. Okay, and if attracting the best will get you who you want, that's what I'm talking about here. This is the way I attract the best, because I have found so many new opportunities by being myself and providing this kind of input and content on LinkedIn.
All right. One more question. Videos. You've got a video introduction. When we click on your face, we get a video. You've also used videos in your postings. What advice would you give us about videos? And if we wanted to do that on do a video introduction on our LinkedIn profile, how do we pull that off?
Okay. Video is important because video is, again, another differentiator, because it looks different when you come to my profile as opposed to you go to Marsha's, because Marsha has a picture. It's a great picture. Okay, it's a smiling picture. It's a perfect picture to have as far as a professional picture on LinkedIn, but that's all it does. It sit there. Okay, again, video moves. Video allows you to do it. So the method of this and the way you do this is something called profile video. Now, again, inside of the help. Okay, I'm going to go there so that it opens this up. Go to the help that I showed you how to do before and type in the words profile. You got to know what to call it in order to get the help on LinkedIn. So call it profile video. LinkedIn profile video. Here it is. Bring it up, and this will show you how to do this. Okay. The important thing that I want you to understand about this one is that this is one of there's a major difference between what happens on a mobile device, a mobile app, and what happens on the desktop. Profile video is one of the few things that you can do on the mobile device, but cannot do on the desktop yet. Anyway, I'm hopeful that LinkedIn will actually upgrade the desktop process to allow me to record a video, because look, I'm on video right here. I got a camera. I could record video just as well on my PC as I could on my smartphone. But this is one of the things that you can only do on a on the smartphone. So you've got to go to your profile, and to add a profile video, tap your profile photo and then click the plus sign to add that video. So now let me show you that. And this gives me the opportunity to show off my technical prowess here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my phone screen. Bear with me for just a second. Allow me to do that. And here's my smartphone screen. Yes, I am a Star Trek nut. That is why Spock is on my Star Trek screen, my smartphone screen. Okay. Going to your phone, open the LinkedIn app. Bring up your profile by clicking on your picture. Okay. And then once you get to your profile, click the plus sign, and that will allow you to now, because I already have one, okay, it says view or edit profile video. If you haven't done one before, it will say create or upload a video. Okay, so you can create, now what this allows you to do is a 30-second commercial, if you will. You can actually use this for your 30-second elevator speech if you wanted to put that up there, and you can be a talking head and you can put it up there. Now, I decided that I didn't want to be a talking head. So I actually had, so if you can do this on your own, that's great. If you're comfortable with doing this on your own, use your phone to record a video and then upload that video to LinkedIn, and that will put that immediately there. And then when people come to you, it will start to play that very briefly, as it did just a little while ago. As a matter of fact, it even did it when I came to my profile here. Okay, it should, when I come to my profile, actually, when I actually view my profile, it actually doesn't start it because it's on the phone. So, but if you upload it on the phone, it will then be available on the desktop as well. Everybody with me so far? Okay, so again, you're editing the profile. So what I did was 30 seconds worth. Now, I decided that I wasn't comfortable enough doing that I wanted help doing that. So what I did was I went to again, this is a member of my tribe. You know, half the battle is knowing how to go find someone who can help you with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of this, okay, and I'm going to turn this off. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Cancel that. Okay. I'm going to go back to my profile. And I'm in LinkedIn Help. So let me go back to my profile. Okay. So here's my profile. And again, if you come to my profile, it will start to play that. And when you click on it, it will immediately play this video. When I click on it, it will be viewer. Yeah, so I won't play the whole thing, but this is what happens when you view my profile video. It's my commercial. It's another way of branding yourself. It's another way of differentiating yourself. View profile video. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Doesn't matter. Basically, here is what I'm trying to do. They call me the LinkedIn guru, etc. It's 30 seconds worth of, again, without me talking, but I had help putting this together. Okay. So do it on your own. If you feel comfortable doing it on your own, record the video, upload it. And by the way, you can change this as many times as you want. So if you see it and don't like it, you can always upload another one. You can always upload, you replace it, etc. But I'm going to show you a person that can help you more than anything else. And she is a lovely lady in your time zone, as a matter of fact. Her name is Jillian Whitney, and she lives in Las Vegas. And Jillian Whitney is the video easy peasy queen on LinkedIn. She is the person who created not only my 2-minute introductory video, which I gave you a link to up in the front, but she also put this, she created my 30-second video out here as well. And all she did was then ship it to me and I uploaded it. Now, she charges for this process, but she is well worth the money. I cannot recommend anybody highly enough or higher than her on LinkedIn when it comes to video. And you go to her profile and see what she does by clicking on her video. Okay, and that's Jillian in a nutshell, her 30 seconds. Now, again, she charges for this, but as I said, I've paid her money and I'm a retired guy. Okay, I wanted something that was high quality and she gave it to me. And she is so easy to work with, and she's one of the best people I know on LinkedIn. So if you're interested in video, I would highly recommend, tell her I sent you. If you go connect with her, okay. Now, by the way, she will have a follow button as well, because she's got content creation mode on. She's got creator mode on, but under the more will be a follow button for her. Now, right now it's an unfollow because I'm already followed. See, as a matter of fact, you can tell that I rang her bell. I want to see everything that she does out here. Okay. Yeah, that's how much I think of her.
All right. Thank you so much. One final question. Somebody asks if I have two different things I want to do, like I'd be happy to do a long-term job doing this or a short-term consulting project doing this. How do I make my one profile work for both of my interests?
My recommendation on that one, Marcia, would be to put both of those things out there as a current job, because you can describe them both. So, for example, one of the things that is extremely important in having a complete profile, and people who have a complete profile are 40 times more likely to have to get found on LinkedIn. Okay, 40 times, right? The point being is that they have a current position. That's one of the 7 things. As a matter of fact, that was in one of the things I gave you a link on. By the numbers, there are 7 different things that make you have what LinkedIn says is a complete profile. By the way, your profile is never complete, but complete in terms of being what they used to call an all-star. Okay, so one of those things is a current position. Now, people who are in the job search say, "Well, I don't want to lie. I don't have a current position." Okay. Well, my advice about that one is, yes, you do have a current position. You have a current position that you are looking for. So why not add that as the current position out there on LinkedIn and allow you to put the keywords that are related to that current position and tell people that's what you're looking for? Because if you tell people, you might actually get lucky and see somebody will see that and they would be able to help you find it. Okay. So there's nothing wrong with saying that I have a current position that I am looking for as well. And so that current position could be anything you want. It could be, and I'm not really, I told you this yesterday, I'm not really fond of this, but in order to tell you what it can be used for, I use this term. It could be a side hustle, okay? And again, I don't like the term side hustle, but it could be a second job. It could be something freelance. It could be anything you want. Literally, if you go to my profile, I'm a retired guy, but I have 6 current positions, okay? Because I want people to understand what it is that I do now, not just that I'm retired and don't do anything. So down in my experience section, of course, the very first one of those is me as the LinkedIn guru. I'm a professional trainer. I'm a LinkedIn trainer. That's what I do. Oh, by the way, I'm also a podcast and LinkedIn Live guest. By the way, here's another place, by the way, where the Career Action Ministries will be videos are, because here's another place on my profile that you can find all kinds of videos that will help you as well. Here's another place, okay, that I've added all those videos to. I've even set a separate role. It's a second thing. From January 2019 to the present, I've been doing a lot of podcasts and LinkedIn Lives. LinkedIn Lives, by the way, are the same thing as a Facebook Live, only on LinkedIn. Okay, and that's where I put all that stuff so that people can come to it and find it and see it. So that's the second role for me. And oh, by the way, I am all about kindness on LinkedIn. So another good friend of mine, by the way, Shelly Elslinger, which you'll find that assessment on my profile as well. Shelly does an assessment that allows you to answer 200 questions, a yes or no, as how well you're doing on your profile. Well, I'm also a member of the Kind Club, which she started. Okay? And I believe that that is the way that you get ahead on LinkedIn, is being kind on LinkedIn and giving on LinkedIn. So that's number 3. I also do volunteer work for an organization here locally in Columbus, Ohio, called the Jewish Family Services. Okay, that's where I put that one as one of my current. I also do volunteer work for another one called Ability Professional Network, which is another local networking organization. And I'm also a member of, because they nominated me and gave me this, which is something I wanted to be known for as well. So another current position on my profile is volunteer member of the Global Goodwill Ambassadors, which I didn't ask for. They came to me and someone nominated me to be that. And I've been a member of that since for almost 5 years now. So that's again, I'm sorry, it's a long-winded answer, but this is so powerful that you can use this thing to point people in the direction you want to point them. And that's how you can have two different things that are a part of you, because you're not just one thing, you're multi-talented. So put your multi-talents up there. And I believe one of the easiest ways to do that is put a current position that highlights those multiple talents. You're searching for more questions?
No, I'm going to bring a halt to him. It's noon. You have been so generous with your time and so helpful. We are learning so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for all the resources that we can continue to learn after this hour is over. All those newsletters and articles to help us dig into the information we need when we need it. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Obviously, namaste.
Namaste to you. Thank you. And thank you everybody for coming today. It's been great having you. Have a great month, and we'll see you next month for a networking tutorial on how to get over the agony of reaching out to new people and make the connections that will be valuable to us in our job search. See you next month.